Okay, this is the legendary Rich Franklin, and they changed it to Rick, to throw you off a little bit. But you can see that this is his boxing record, but he's had more boxing fights than this. Of course, the dates are messed up, but there is no such thing as Rick. It's a Rich Franklin. Most people don't know that he was actually a boxer. Truth is, and they even did a name with Lee Kung. They changed it in Lee Cargill. You know what I'm saying? These dates add up to 2012, but I was technically his last fight, his last particularly boxing match in 2014. And I can tell you that honestly, during that time and before then, Rich Franklin could have easily been, let me flip it around to you guys so you guys can see me. Okay, see it better? But honestly, Rich Franklin could have easily been, hold on, let me turn this thing off now. He could have easily been a world champion boxer. We know that. Okay. During his time that he came up in the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s. It was a rough time, especially for somebody as talented as he was. Even fighting him, I saw his skill, his defense is among the best I've ever seen in my life. I'd never seen a fighter that had that much power, and it was hard to hit him, but he could hit you at any time. In the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, fighters like him, Chuck Liddell, Shoney Carter, who was another great boxer but didn't get his chance. He's done boxing matches, but he's underrated, Bob Sapp. These guys, during that era, they protected the white fighters, really, because there was so much talent back then. They were afraid that somebody as talented as Chuck Liddell, Rich Franklin, that they would get demolished. Even if they could become world champions, and they could. The competition was so high back then, they weren't going to risk them getting fucked up. So the best thing was to put them in UFC because there was more protection there. Black guys are naturally better boxers. We tend to just be better boxers. I'm going to keep it real with you. It's not trying to be racist, nothing like that. It's just how it is. We have a natural advantage in that. UFC tends to cater more towards Caucasian fighters because they grow up with different tactics and all that, how they fight. We rather knock somebody out. UFC can knock you out, but they'll choke you out and body slam. They do all kind of stuff there. So we're more, you could say, limited to a certain extent how we actually fight in boxing. So that's why they did that. It was protecting his legacy because he was such a great fighter. They didn't want him to lose. And you think it's racist in UFC boxing, they're looking for the great white champion. They call him the white hope. And they don't like to see them lose at all. They rather kill you than for you to lose. I'm just being real with you. So they're protecting. They don't like, because it's rare to see that in boxing. So it's like, well, he can hang with us and beat us, so let's protect him. That's what happened to Rocky Marciano. So, just give me a little insight on the real dynamics of the fight. And like I said, he's such a great fighter. It was an honor to fight against him. But his boxing career is underrated, I would say.